morning, everyone. I'm Councilmember Janet Miller, and it's my pleasure to be here in the mayor's stead today. The mayor is out doing the important work of the people in the community on a tour and couldn't be here this morning, and so I have the privilege of standing in, and I'm very excited to be here because the two things we're going to be talking about are initiatives that are very near and dear to my heart. I would like to recognize Councilmember Levanta Williams, who is here. She also shares a similar passion for both topics this morning, so I'm glad she could be here. The first thing I'm announcing this morning is that the City of Wichita has been nationally recognized for its livability and quality of life efforts. And that recognition comes through what's called the Star Communities rating system. And so I'll tell you a little bit about what that is. Wichita was recognized as being the 41st city in the country to be recognized as a star community. The rating system is a 1 to 5 stars, and the City of Wichita is recognized as being a 3-star city. And this framework that measures a city's quality of life, sustainability, livability, assets is a program that not only looks at what the City of Wichita, the governmental entity, is doing to make Wichita a livable, sustainable, quality of life community. It looks at across the board what all of the businesses, what the nonprofits, what the medical community, everyone that's in a community, what are the efforts that are being put forth in our community to make the community of Wichita a more sustainable place. And so what I would like to mention today are a couple of things about this rating system. Sometimes when we think about sustainability, it has historically been thought of as efforts related to the environment. And sustainability really, in this context, means that we look at a lot more factors than just the environment. And some of those include economy and jobs, education, arts and culture, civic and community engagement, health and safety, quality of water, and a lot of other things, which I have some more information and we'll share that with you in detail in just a few minutes. So in Wichita, we have been awarded a 3-star rating, which we are very pleased to be able to announce that today. Other cities at this particular level include Atlanta, Cleveland, Des Moines, Houston, Indianapolis, Phoenix, St. Louis, and a number of others. And this award is based on achievements in 7 different goal areas. And for those of you that have been at the table, you probably have received this document right here, which has across the top of it 7 goal areas. And you'll see that those are these include the built environment, climate and energy, economy and jobs, education, arts and community, equity and empowerment, health and safety, and natural systems. And then underneath each of those categories are a number of objectives. There's 44 objectives and 500, which we're not providing you all 500, but you could access if you wanted to on the website, 500 outcome and action measures that assess the community's livability. And I really want to emphasize that this is not merely a city government initiative. We have city staff, who I do want to recognize, Laura Quick, who's here, and a former employee, Zach Daniel, who took the time to collect the data that went into measuring all 44 objectives and 500 outcomes and measures. And all of that data was not available at the City of Wichita. They had to go out to other community entities, the school system, a lot of nonprofits, other entities, some of whom I'll mention this morning, to collect this data in order for us to judge ourselves, to assess ourselves on our livability. Just want to mention that this is an initiative, this measuring of the quality of life in Wichita grew out of some work that was originally started under an initiative that many of you will remember, which is Visioneering Wichita. there was an alliance called the Sustainability Alliance, and there are a couple of my colleagues here who participated in that. Councilmember Williams was active in that. Former City Council member Sharon Fury was active in that. Barry Carroll, Kathy Dittmer, a number of people, citizens, some of whom I'm also probably forgetting here this morning, were involved in that activity. And one of the things that grew out of that was we didn't have a real good way to measure how Wichita was doing on all of these efforts related to sustainability and quality of life. And we came across this star rating system. This is one of the things that we learned about at our National League of Cities conference. Each year the city council members go to this conference, and Councilmember Williams and I and others came back, and we recognized that this was a tool that we could potentially use to measure Wichita's community sustainability and livability, quality of life. And so the city manager always loves it when we come back with ideas. It scares him, I think. But anyway, he helped us find the right staff people to assign to this task. And so we have now completed this assessment, which I'll talk about here in a minute, some areas that give you some examples. But what we're really excited about then is, now that we have this baseline assessment, how do we increase our ratings over the next few years, and who can we work with in the community to do that? So in this area, this grid, we scored highest as a community in 3 areas. One is the education, arts, and communities area. One is the economy and jobs area, and the other is a health and safety area. And I'll just give you a few examples, but the problem with pointing out a few examples is that when you're measuring 500 different things, it makes it sound like these are the most important, and they're not. They're just examples among many things that are happening in the community. So some examples in the the education, arts, and communities area. Some things that we ranked highly on, or that helped us rank high in that, are our local arts council's work to grow and promote arts and cultural opportunities in our community, and particularly work that they're doing around helping our community recognize that there is a lot of economic benefit to arts and culture in our community, and what dollars those activities bring in, and also helping through a business course that they offer called the Business of Art. It's a partnership where they are helping artists be good business people in addition to being artists. And so again, the community is benefiting from growing arts and cultural activities here, but we're also working on the economy simultaneously. The City of Wichita also has some arts programs through City Arts that contributed to this effort as well. Another area that we scored well in is the economy and jobs area, and we hear a lot about that in our community these days. There's a really big emphasis. I couldn't even list, standing up here, all of the entities that are working on improving our economy, growing jobs, recruiting business, growing and sustaining talent. But some of the things that I would mention are the work of the Workforce Alliance of South Central Kansas, including some programs they have called the Adult and Dislocated Worker Program, the Regional Manufacturing Council on Technical Education, and then all of the work that's being done by the various entities that comprise the new Greater Wichita Partnership. We have a representative here this morning from that entity as well. All of those efforts together really helped us score high in terms of Wichita's efforts to improve and grow its economy. And thirdly, the health and safety component of the evaluation. We scored very high because of some efforts on our Wichita's bicycle master plan, because we now have a bicycle and pedestrian advisory board, and because of some diverse programming that's available through our Parks and Rec department, and some other partnerships that we have with Bike Walk Wichita, the Health and Wellness Coalition, and a number of activities all related to health, wellness, physical activity, nutrition. Some of the groups that we have here representing those entities, I'll introduce them and they'll be available later for questions, would be the Workforce Alliance. We have Keith Lawing, who is here. The United Way locally collects so much data on our community about needs, issues, concerns. And we went to them on many occasions to collect data. We have Pat Hanrahan here from the United Way who helped us plug in those numbers into the assessment. We have Barry Carroll here from Bike Walk Wichita, all things biking. From the Greater Wichita Partnership, we have Gary Schmidt. Other staff members, we have Scott Wadle, who's been instrumental on the everything bicycling and bike paths and bike lanes. We have from the Arts Council, Sharon Fury, who is on their board and can speak to the arts piece. And Kathy Dittmer, John D'Angelo's here, also can speak to anything park, recreation, and arts. So I thank all of you for being here, and I hope by pointing out some of these folks, it gives you an idea that all of this work is very much across the community, not just what we're doing here at the City of Wichita. So really our next steps are to figure out now that we have this assessment, how do we roll it out to the larger community? And this is our first step in announcing this. How do we roll it out to the next community to say, the broader community to say, okay, now we have this assessment. And so now if we want to work toward the 4-star rating, who wants to be involved in that? And which part of this grid do you as an organization or you as an individual, what work are you doing that will help plug into these areas that will help increase us to the next star rating? Ultimately, we hope to get to a 5-star rating, but we'll be working on that, and so we look forward to hearing from people who are interested in working with us on that effort. Probably have questions about that. But before we move into questions and answers, I would like to share another exciting announcement today, and that has to do with the library's new website. The library has just launched today an updated website, and that website address is very complicated, not really, wichitalibrary.org. Actually, it's a great simplification over the previous website address, which the old one will still work. It will route you to this new one. But there are a lot of new features on this website that will improve the community's ability to access materials, online research tools, and other library services and programs. What's one really great thing for those of you that do access the library website is that the new one has been optimized for mobile use, and so you'll actually be able to use it much more easily now on your iPhone or your tablet. And this creates new opportunities to actually create more of a virtual branch than we've ever had before. You'll be able to do lots more things on this website so that you don't even need to go into the library if you don't want to. The new site has an events calendar that lets you filter for the type of program that you're looking for. There are additional ways that you can access your library account. You can check out, put materials on hold for pickup, all kinds of things you can do through this new site. And we have staff here this morning that can help answer questions about that and share some of the other features. So we encourage everyone to go check out the new library website, wichitalibrary.org.